Looking to even the series. Game number 4 coming up in just about half an hour alongside Alex Daugherty. I'm Will Boling. Alex, let's jump right in. Warm-ups are underway. Who's on the ice? Who is not on the ice so far for the Nashville Predators today?
Yeah, so warm-ups just started, and it's pretty loud in here, so I hope you can hear me. But it looks like Dante Fabro is gonna play today. It also looks like Matthew Oliviers is on the ice as well. Victor Arvidsson will be out again. He missed Game 3, and so probably Matthew Oliviers will be in. Still waiting for the final lineup card, but Dante Fabro looks like he could get his first chance at this lineup. So still looking around, trying to find out who else is on the ice, but that's what I've got for you so far.
Perfect. So what differences does Matthew Oliviers give you? What's the difference with Dante Fabro coming in this lineup for game number 4 versus Fabro not being in this lineup at all, and Oliviers coming back in for the first time since game 1? Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. So Oliviers, Oliviers made a lot of noise early on this season for the Preds as a part of the fourth line. He played with Colton Sissons and Jakob Trenin. Then he gets injured, actually injures his hand getting in a fight, which, that tells you all you need to know about Oliviers, what he is. So I don't think he'll be doing any fighting today. You don't usually see fighting in the playoffs, but he's a very, very physical player. And I think he's got a pretty good chance to play on the bottom line. I'm wondering if that means that either Tanner Jeannot or Jakob Trenin are moving up. I do see Ben Harper on the ice, so you could be a bottom pairing of Ben Harper and Dante Fabro. I don't see Matt Finning currently, so we'll check on that. But yeah, that's Matthew Oliviers, physical presence, lots of energy, lots of fourth line time. That's what he's going to bring.
Alex, to me, with the way game number 3 ended and a short turnaround, too, from going to a day game from a super late game the other night on Friday night, this game to me is all about energy. And this is one of the pluses of Nashville coming into this series for me, the depth they were able to create just based on need, on necessity this season. And the guys they had getting hurt, Ryan Ellis being out for so long, Matt Duchene, Ryan Johansson, Victor Arvidsson. Preds are one of the deeper teams, right, throughout this season. They've just through necessity have had to throw a lot of these younger, higher energy guys into the lineup. Do you think that helps them today with maybe some heavy legs coming from Friday night?
So I do and I don't. First of all, I don't think that you're going to be able to out-physical this Carolina team because we saw in game 1 and 2 in Carolina that this team is fast, but they can be very physical as well. I think they'll probably get a start. They'll probably get some early time in this game. But especially if there's a lot of special teams, this game is going to come back to what we saw Friday night. Ryan Johansson, Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg. I'm assuming that line is going to be back out there again. I can't imagine them going away from it. So that line, and then also, can you get any depth scoring from Mikhail Granlund, from Luke Cunnin, from the Halla Cousins line? What's going to happen there? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Halla Cousins Oliviers, some skill along with some physical size.
Right.
That's probably what we see there. But look, this is all going to be about if you're the Preds, you've got to have that one line that is a threat. They didn't have that in game 1 and 2. They got it in game 3. If you have that one line that continues to be a threat, you're going to be good in this game. I mean, they've got to have that. So I think that's really the bigger story for this.
So a couple more things for you, Alex, before we let you go, as you get ready to cover this one, and I get ready to walk over to the arena here in a minute as well. I'm going to ask you for your X Factor coming up in a minute for the Nashville Predators. But first, the headline for Carolina, Jacob Slavin out once again for the Hurricanes this afternoon. When you look at this Carolina team in Game 3 versus Games 1 and 2, what was the biggest difference in Carolina? Where were they not as good in Game 3 versus where they were in Games 1 and 2?
Just real quick, I just want to point out one thing. It looks like Tanner Jeannot will not play tonight. So probably that means Oliviers will be on the fourth line. All right. Tanner Jeannot will not play because he's not out there. So that's one replacement. But let me your question on what did Carolina do differently. So I don't know that they did a ton differently. I mean, they still had a lot of speed. But if you remember how that game went, the Predators came out first period flying up and down the ice. They got a goal or two. I think they got one goal in the first period. And then second period, Carolina really bounced back. They matched the Predators' speed really well. Third period was kind of a wash, and then in the overtimes, each team has to play a little bit more cautious in the overtimes because one goal ends it.
Right.
So they were not able to jump up and be aggressive as much as they like to be. So that was kind of the difference maker. As soon as it got to overtime, I think Nashville had maybe a slight advantage. I also think this building made a difference. I mean, Nashville plays differently in this building. There's no doubt about that. So Carolina's still going to be have a lot of speed, a lot of energy on all lines. But and look, if you talk about high end play, the Predators got it in Johansson and Duchesne.
Right.
Well, who's been performing for the Carolina Hurricanes this entire series? It's Sebastian Aho, it's Jordan Staal, it's Vincent Trocheck. That's their three best scorers right there. So those three guys are going to continue to be the problem that the Nashville Predators have to deal with on defense.
All right, Alex, last thing for you before we wrap things up for our pregame show. Give me your X Factor again tonight. I've got to go with Matt Duchesne again, who you went with as your X Factor in Game 1. He was the guy that decided things, obviously, in Game 3. I want to see Matt Duchesne early. I want to see him often. I want to see the confidence carrying over from Game 3 and the way that ended to Game number 4. Are you with me there? Is he your X Factor? And if not, who is?
Yeah, Matt Duchesne's definitely an X factor for tonight because if he can carry that momentum. Let me go ahead and give you a quick update. So we've got some lines and warm-ups, okay. And I've got time. I mean, I've got at least a few minutes here before things get real loud. So let me just go over that real quick. So it is going to be the Johansson, Forsberg, Duchesne line, Granlund and Tolvanen and Cunnin. Olivier is going to be on the fourth line, and then it's going to be a Haula, Cousins, Yarncroke third line.
Wow.
That is a good third line. That's a really good third line with Yarncroke in there. I think that's actually might be the same from last time. That's the same line from Friday, so that's good. Defensively, though, I was wrong. Matt Benning is out there. He was hiding. Matt Benning is out there, so it could be Harper and Benning, or it could be Harper and Fabro. Not sure if Fabro is going to play or not. So they got 7 defensemen out on the ice. You can have whoever you want out there on the warm-ups. But he might not play. So we'll see. We won't really know if Fabro's in until closer to game time. But so that's kind of your lineups. X factors. Matt Duchene's a good one. I wonder if today is a day that look. All right, I did a little bit of a dive into UC Saros. He's been fine in this series. I think he's been just as good as we would expect. I think that today is a game where UC Saros could be the quintessential UC Saros we've seen this season.
Right.
And he goes out and plays a whale of a game, shuts down the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to go with UC Saros as my X factor. If he comes out and plays like he should, the Predators get a couple goals. That could be all they need.
All right, so last thing. I went into these two games saying I think the Preds, with the energy on a Friday night, take Game 3. Then I think I picked them to lose one of these two and still lose in 5. But this, to me, is the swing game where you look back at if Nashville wins this one, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, maybe this team, it kind of has a shot. They've been in a lot of these games. They had Carolina tied after 2 periods in Game 1. They didn't give up, a lot of power play opportunities in those first 2 games. At least they didn't give up goals. They gave up a lot of opportunities. How do you see this one shaking out? How confident are you in Nashville's ability to play up to the level they played in Friday night?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not as confident as I was Friday night. I was pretty confident that the Predators would put their best foot forward and come out with a win on Friday. It was a little bit shaky, and it was a pretty dramatic way to do it, but I was pretty sure they were going to win. This game is we said this on Friday, but, to me, this game is the series. Like, you go in and tie up the series 2-2 going back to Carolina. Not only is the series now a best of 3, but Carolina's lost 2 straight, and their confidence from earlier in the series is gone, totally gone. And, momentum in the playoffs, that it can be a thing. It's a little bit hard to quantify. It's a little bit hard to measure, but it's there. And the Predators, if they could steal this one, and then they steal Tuesday's Game 5, they have the clincher Game 6 on Thursday here in Nashville. And, man, wouldn't that be something if they start down 0-2 in the series and then win 4 straight? Getting ahead of ourselves, obviously, but I'm just saying I think that this game is the series, because like if they go back to Carolina 3-1, Carolina can clinch it on home ice. Probably going to end it right there.
All right, Alex Daugherty, you can catch him after the game with Lucas Panzica the second this one ends. I've got to head to Bridgestone. I'll be joining you up there in a little bit. Alex, great to see you, man. We'll talk to you after the game.
Yep, we'll see you then.
All right, we will talk to you all as well. Preds and Canes getting started.